You're listening to Inside Insight, the podcast that dives into the latest innovations and strategies in manufacturing, distribution, and Dynamics 365 Business Central. Brought to you by InsightWorks, this show features our hosts, Ryan and Emma, as they bring you expert conversations, industry insights, and practical advice to help you stay ahead in this constantly evolving world.
All right, welcome in everyone to another deep dive. This time, we're digging into something that I think is probably going to resonate with a lot of you out there, especially if you're working with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about production schedules. And let's be honest, keeping those things like actually clear and organized.
Yeah.
Not always the easiest.
Right. It's like one of those universal struggles, isn't it?
It really is. And if you've ever felt like you're just drowning in a sea of data,
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what in the world is actually happening on your production floor.
Just to get a handle on things.
Yeah. Well, then you are definitely in the right place.
Absolutely.
Because today we are going deep on Graphical Scheduler. It's a, get this, free, fully integrated app for Business Central.
Wow, free.
Free.
Okay.
And you know what it's designed to do?
Look at that.
It's designed to bring that clarity, that we're all craving. It does it through visual scheduling.
Ah, I see. Visual scheduling.
So our mission today, if you will, is to show you, our lovely listeners, how to use this tool, how its customizable views can basically transform your production scheduling from like a reactive headache, the kind that we all know and
We all know that headache.
don't love, to a, wait for it, proactive source of efficiency.
Proactive.
I know. And here's the ticker. This isn't like some limited trial or like a stripped down version. This is the fully featured,
The real deal.
the real deal, free tool right there in Business Central.
Baked right in. I love that.
Okay, so let's get right into it, all right?
Let's do it.
One of the things that really jumps out about Graphical Scheduler is this ability to customize, like really customize your views. Can you kind of unpack that for us a little bit? Like, why is that level of customization so important when we're, knee deep in production?
Absolutely. Well, you got to think about all the different people involved in a production environment, right? You got your production planners. They need like a bird's eye view of the whole thing, right?
Okay.
They need to see capacity, upcoming demand, and maybe across like multiple work centers over the next few weeks even.
We need the 10,000-foot view.
Exactly, the 10,000-foot view. But then you got your shop floor supervisor. They're down in the trenches, right? Laser focused on what's happening right now, this shift. Their team, their needs are totally different.
Immediate needs.
Yeah, totally different information, or at least the same information, but presented in a way that like makes sense for them,
That's tailored to their specific needs.
Exactly. And that's where this customization comes in, because generic one-size-fits-all views just don't cut it. Not in a complex production world.
So you're saying it's not just about what you're seeing, but it's about how you're seeing it, right?
Exactly.
Can you give us like some concrete examples of the types of views you can actually cook up with this based on what we've got here?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So let's say you're all about assembly orders, right?
Assembly orders.
You can set up a view that shows you exactly who's assigned to which assembly, their timeline, the whole 9 yards.
That's handy.
Super handy. Then you got maintenance schedules.
Right.
Keeping your equipment happy, right?
Up and running.
Exactly. So you can have a view dedicated to that, see upcoming maintenance, potential downtime, and, be proactive.
Proactive. There's that word again.
Love it. And, for the businesses that are all about project-based manufacturing, there's a view for them too. You can visualize job planning lines, those super detailed steps within a project, and track progress visually.
Oh, wow.
It's a game changer for project management.
I bet.
And even for our friends down in the warehouse.
The warehouse crew.
You got it. You can set up views to manage those picks, see who's responsible for what order. It's all about that granular control.
So it really sounds like it covers like all the bases, all the different aspects of the production process.
From the top floor to the shop floor.
So it's not just about picking what you see. It's about really tailoring how you see it.
That's the beauty of it.
So what kind of elements can users actually like tweak and customize within these views?
Okay, so buckle up because you have a lot of control here. First off, you pick your data source. What information do you actually want to see in this view? Get super specific.
Okay.
Then you play with the layout. How is that information visually presented? Do you want it in a list, a chart, a timeline? You decide.
So many options.
Right. And then, this is a big one, you can apply filters. This lets you laser focus on, like, the stuff that matters most to you.
Ooh, filters.
Yeah, like imagine you're a production planner, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to see every single open order. You just want to see the ones that are due this week and like maybe the ones that are behind schedule.
The ones that need attention.
Exactly. So you filter for that. Boom. Instant clarity.
I love it.
And then to make things even more awesome, you can link specific views to user roles.
Okay, wait, explain that one.
So like when a production planner logs in, boom, they automatically see that high-level capacity view that we were talking about. But the shop floor supervisor, they see their detailed shift schedule.
No extra clicks, just what they need.
Exactly. No muss, no fuss. It just makes everyone's life easier.
All right, filters. Filters sound like a real game changer here, especially when we're, as we've been talking about, swimming in data in Business Central.
Mm-hmm.
How does Graphical Scheduler approach filtering to like save us from information overload?
Well, filters are all about showing you what you need when you need it, right? So instead of being bombarded with like every single production order under the sun,
Every single one.
you can filter down to just the ones that are, I don't know, due this week, maybe the ones that are behind schedule, like you were saying, the ones that need attention.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You can filter by work center to see what's going on there, if there are any bottlenecks coming up. It's all about prioritizing your attention.
I see.
And speaking of prioritizing your attention, let's talk about these handy little things called date presets.
Ooh, date presets. What are those?
They are lifesavers, my friend.
Okay.
Instead of like manually selecting start and end dates for your filters, which can be a pain,
Yeah.
you can just use these preset options. Think today, next 2 weeks, upcoming month.
So it's like quick filters based on time.
Exactly. Instant snapshots of different periods. No need to mess around with complex filter settings every time.
Okay, I like that. Makes sense.
It's all about speed and ease of use.
Now, another thing that caught my eye here is this ability to like restrict views based on user roles or departments.
Yeah.
That seems, I don't know, like a really smart way to kind of keep things organized and prevent accidental, oopsies. Can you walk us through that?
For sure. So by assigning specific views to certain roles, you're basically creating like a permission system.
Like a safety net.
Yeah, a safety net at the visual level. This ensures that people are only seeing and messing with the information that's actually relevant to them, to their job. So, your shop floor worker doesn't need to be looking at, let alone changing high-level capacity planning data.
Right.
It prevents errors, keeps everyone focused on their own tasks.
So it's kind of like those lane dividers on the highway.
Exactly. Lane dividers for your data.
Keeping everybody safe and in their own lane. All right, let's move on to the actual visual representation itself. You mentioned earlier this familiar calendar interface. It sounds like it's designed to be really intuitive, which, I'm all for.
Yeah.
How did that benefit users in practice?
Well, think about it. Most of us are already used to calendars, right? We use them for our personal lives, our work lives. It's just a natural way to think about time and schedules.
We live and breathe by calendars.
Exactly. So with Graphical Scheduler, there's no steep learning curve. You don't have to wrap your head around like complicated tables or anything. You just see your production schedule laid out on a calendar.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. And because of that, it's way easier to understand the flow of work, spot any potential conflicts, and it's a great tool for those production meetings or when you're planning things across different departments. Everyone can look at the same calendar and be on the same page.
So it's a visual communication tool.
Absolutely. Seeing it all laid out visually just makes sense.
Now, you can also adjust like the level of detail you're seeing on this calendar.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you can zoom in, zoom out, depending on what you need to see. If you're a supervisor managing tasks on an hourly basis, you can view the schedule in hours.
That's granular.
Super granular.
Yeah.
But if you're a planner, you might want to look at things daily or weekly. It's all about flexibility, making sure you have the right level of detail for whatever you're working on.
So you're not overwhelmed with too much information, but you also have enough to get the job done.
Exactly. Just the right amount.
Okay, now another visual element that really stands out here is this color coding. How does that play into making the schedule even more understandable, especially at a glance?
Okay, color coding is where things get really fun.
Ooh, fun.
It turns what could be, a pretty dense and confusing schedule into a communication powerhouse. You can assign colors to represent different things, so you can immediately spot important information without having to read every little detail.
Okay.
So, for example, you could color code orders based on their priority. Rush orders get a bright red, standard orders maybe a cool blue.
I like it.
You can highlight operations that are behind schedule, maybe in yellow so they really stand out. You can even indicate work centers that are over capacity, maybe in orange, as a warning sign.
It's a visual early warning system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all of this means you can make decisions faster, spot problems quicker, and just generally keep things running smoothly.
So it's not just pretty colors. It's actually conveying meaningful information.
Meaningful and actionable.
Now, is the logic for this color coding like set in stone, or can you actually customize it?
Oh, it's totally customizable. That's the beauty of it. Each view can have its own color coding logic. So like your engineering team might want to see the status of their drawings, while the shop floor team cares more about machine availability.
Different strokes for different folks.
Exactly. Everyone gets the visual cues that are most important to them.
Now, Graphical Scheduler isn't just about looking at your schedule. It's also about actively managing it, right? And one of the ways it does that is through this drag and drop functionality. So how does drag and drop simplify things for users?
Oh, drag and drop is like magic. It just makes everything so much easier. Instead of digging through menus and typing in a bunch of stuff.
Click, click, click.
Yeah, all that clicking and typing, you just grab a task, drag it to a new time slot, boom, rescheduled.
Just like that.
It's just like that. Need to reassign a resource, drag and drop. Need to adjust the duration of an operation, drag and drop. It's so intuitive.
It's like playing Tetris with your production schedule.
Exactly. But way less stressful, hopefully.
Now, do these visual changes that you're making actually update the underlying data in Business Central?
Oh, absolutely. It's all seamlessly integrated, so any changes you make in Graphical Scheduler are instantly reflected in Business Central.
So there's no risk of the visual schedule being out of sync with what's actually happening?
Nope. Everything stays in sync automatically. No manual updates, no double entry. It just works.
I love that.
Right. Makes life a lot easier.
Now, I know our sources specifically mention an example of managing pick assignments in the warehouse, even name some users, David, Mark, Raymond. How does that illustrate this drag and drop functionality in action?
Okay, so picture this. You're a warehouse manager, right? You're looking at your schedule for the day, all the pick tasks laid out, color-coded by urgency, maybe?
I'm picturing it.
Suddenly, one of your pickers calls in sick.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, right? But no worries, you just grab their assigned picks, drag and drop them over to another available picker, David, Mark, Raymond, whoever's free.
Boom, problem solved.
Problem solved, real-time visual task reallocation. It's just so much easier than trying to do that in a table view.
So it gives you that flexibility to react to those unexpected events.
Exactly. Adapt and overcome visually.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. All right, big picture time.
Yeah.
What's the core purpose of Graphical Scheduler?
Yeah.
And what are some things that it's, not designed to do so we don't get any unrealistic expectations out there?
Okay, so at its heart, Graphical Scheduler is all about giving you a user-friendly, visual way to manage your production schedule. Short-term, day-to-day, week-to-week stuff. It's about clarity, communication, and making quick adjustments.
So it's like the day-to-day, the nuts and bolts.
Exactly. Now, it's important to remember this isn't your super sophisticated capacity planning tool. It's not going to do AI-driven optimization of your entire supply chain. That's a whole other beast.
So it's not a crystal ball.
Not a crystal ball, no. It's about practical visual control over your production activities.
Okay, so the key takeaway for our listeners today is a Graphical Scheduler gives you a really powerful and free way to take control of your production schedules right there in Business Central, all through these visual customizable views.
And it's all about tailoring those views to your specific role, your team's needs. It can really make a huge difference in how efficiently you run things.
So as we wrap up here, I want to leave you all with a little something to think about. How might implementing these customizable visual views, right there in your Business Central environment, not just transform your production scheduling, but also your daily workflow, how you get things done, and just the overall clarity within your team?
It's worth considering.
It really is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, folks.
It's always a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.